It's easy to see why curators would jump at an exhibition such as the Degas at the Art Gallery of Alberta. But there's another sector of art that rarely gets into major Western galleries. Jelena Adzik now on what's sometimes called outsider art.
In Persian culture, it is very traditional to use calligraphy and text.
Sohaila Esfahani is a promising young Iranian-born artist from Waterloo, Ontario. She's one of countless Canadian artists whose work defies Western assumptions about art. It's one reason these artists are often on the outside of major art institutions, and they want in. It's hard enough for any Canadian artist to earn a living and to achieve recognition. But for Canadian artists from multicultural communities, it's even harder. That's because their ideas of art, their worldview, and the work itself is often unfamiliar, not very well understood. In Esfahani's case, she's lucky. One of her works was recently selected for a unique exhibit entitled Diaspora Art. It's a temporary exhibit that went on display in the fall and is being held over for a year. It's at the Governor General's residence, Rideau Hall, in partnership with the Canada Council. There are 18 works showcasing contemporary art by Canadians from Asian, African, Middle Eastern, and Latin American backgrounds. It's an exhibit that challenges the dominant status of Western art in North American society. That's what makes the Rideau Hall exhibit unique. Elsewhere across the country, at Canada's major art galleries, you won't find any special exhibit like Diaspora Art, showing contemporary art from Canadians from diverse cultures. Nor will you find much aesthetic diversity in those galleries' permanent collections either. Take the National Gallery of Canada, one of our oldest cultural institutions and one of our most important, residing as it does in the capital of the country. It has a distinguished collection of historic European art. It also has a large collection of contemporary Canadian art that flows from the European tradition. And it has a dedicated gallery displaying Indigenous Canadian art. But it has no dedicated gallery for artists from other ethnic communities who color outside the lines of the European Western tradition. Mark Mayer is the director of the National Gallery. He says it's not his job to showcase multiculturalism.
Our real mandate is excellence. We do think about diversity, however, but we're not...
You just don't put it in the gallery?
No, we're only interested in excellence, so we put what we find in the Canadian art scene that is excellent. And we're blind to color or ethnic background, or even whether you were born in Canada. We don't care.
Well, I think if you're talking about artistic excellence, the first thing you have to say is that it is culturally specific.
Chris Creighton Kelly says public gallery heads are looking at the world mainly through white Western eyes. He's a BC artist and critic, currently writing a book on art, racism, and Canadian culture.
So depending on what artistic practice you're looking at, you have to pick up a pair of glasses and look through those lenses, and then put it down and pick up another one and another one. The idea that there's one set of glasses is archaic and frankly racist.
Mayer has a different explanation for why there are so few people of diversity making it as artists.
The reason is they can't make a living doing it, so they'd be crazy to. Certainly if they're just starting out here in a new country. As I said, I think that's the real reason.
To imply that every artist of color just arrived off a boat is also kind of, ignorant in a way. There are plenty of communities that have been here for hundreds of years. Some of them have been here almost as long as the white settlers have been here. So those communities and people from those communities are making art.
Where are they?
You really don't know where they are?
No, because we never see them. We don't see them. We're looking for excellence.
For them.
We are looking for them. That's all we're interested in, is excellence. We're looking for excellent art. We don't care who makes it.
Andrea Fatona does care. She's a curator at a small regional institution, the Ottawa Art Gallery.
For the longest time, particularly as a child and as a teenager, I was very interested in media, in the arts, and realized that there wasn't much that reflected me. So I think not having images of oneself or representation, particularly in a country like Canada, where we actually purport to be a multicultural space, it becomes even more important to have the symphony of voices and symphonies of expression that exists out there in the larger society. So over the next 3 years, we'll have exhibitions by East Asian artists, South Asian artists, Black artists.
As an Iranian-Canadian artist, Esfahani is optimistic.
My guess is that it's just a matter of time before we have established artists that will be exhibited in more established galleries.
The Diaspora Art exhibit challenges conventional ideas as to what kind of art belongs in Canadian galleries and who gets to decide. At the very least, when it comes to change, this conversation may lead to curators buying in, the public weighing in, and the artists getting in. Jelena Adzik, CBC News, Ottawa.